So the cryptocurrency markets are plummeting, and of course, you didn't need to watch a video on YouTube to know that. Anybody in the space, and a lot of people that have never invested in crypto before, can obviously see in the news that it's a really big deal. We have networks going down, we have exchanges pausing withdrawal functions, swap functions, we have a large bear market that has really just started. I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. You have a lot of new investors coming into the space that have seen a couple weeks, maybe a month of a bear market, and they think that it can only last so long. And while that's true, it can actually last a lot longer than many of these new investors think. But there's something strange going on in correlation with the crypto bear market and the NFT bear market. Because of course, we also know that while all this is going on, stocks are plummeting and the value of the US dollar is going down as well. That is hyperinflation, something we're seeing. A large percentage of all American currency that has ever been printed has been printed in the last few months to a year. But here's where it gets strange, and stick with me because in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what I am doing to set myself up in this bear market so when that bull market does inevitably come back around, those profits are going to be exponential. Now, of course, none of this is financial advice, but I've been in the cryptocurrency market for about 5 to 6 years. I have rode these waves, I have seen the dips, and I have held through the bear markets and inevitably profited during the bull markets, with the strategies each time becoming more and more involved and evolving as time goes on. So I really want to pass this information on to you. All I ask is that while you're looking for these investments, you take the time to invest in this channel, as it is completely free to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications, and in return for your investment, I will continue to try and push out this knowledge, because really that's what it comes down to, is the knowledge you have in this space. I think every single one of you watching this video, and really everyone out there, has the potential to profit. There's no barrier that says do not pass go, do not collect profits. What it comes down to is your train of thought, your pattern of thinking. Maybe a new idea is introduced to you that helps you see the world differently, or in this case, the world of cryptocurrency and NFT investing differently. So let's jump right into it, and I want to give you an example. Right now, we know the value of the US dollar is falling, but alongside that, we see prices in the grocery store and prices in gas rising exponentially, and that is obvious because our US dollar is now worth less, which means we have to pay more of it to get the same commodities, right? That makes sense to everyone. Here's another example that goes kind of along with NFTs. This right here, if you can see that, this is a Magic the Gathering card. This card is an addition from a collection that is collectible and is backed by fiat currency, or in our case, in the United States, backed by the US dollar. Now, a few months ago, before this hyperinflation started, I paid around $78 for this card. Now, the price of US currency, or the value rather, is dipping. The price of this card, if I wanted to get it on the market today, is about 20% higher, right around $98 for this one card. Now, in the NFT world, $98 for a collectible, it doesn't seem like very much, but in the real world of physical collectibles, it's quite a bit. But why do we see this divergence in traditional collectibles like this when the price of, or the value of, its backed currency goes down, the price of these collectibles goes up? Now, this is where it gets strange, because we see something in the NFT market that is outside of the scope of what we see with traditional collectibles. Yes, they are collectibles, but what is different? Well, we see the price of, let's say, Ether. Ether is crashing. Right now, Ether is about $1,000 per coin. However, we don't see the price of the collectibles that are backed by Ether rising. Inversely, we see them falling, which means there is an amazing investment opportunity planning for when the bull market goes around. And let me explain this to you. Right now, the price of NFTs, along with their backed currency across the board, whatever chain you trade on, is going down. So let's say I go right now and I buy 1 ETH for $1,000. And then say we wait a couple months, maybe a year, and the ETH market starts to go back up. Let's say ETH goes to $2,000. Well, that's great. My 1 ETH that I paid $1,000 for is now doubled. It is now worth $2,000. But there is meat still left on that bone, and there's profit that we're leaving out. And because of the fact that NFTs are plummeting alongside cryptocurrency or their currency that they're backed by, in this case, Ether. So if we take that same 1 Ether and we buy an NFT that has, say, fallen, let's say there's an NFT that was worth 2 Ether, now with the market or the bear market, it is worth 1 Ether. Well, we take that same 1 Ether for $1,000 and we buy that NFT. Now, again, not financial advice, you must do your own research on what NFTs have this stable price, or have in the past rather had this stable price. I think if you ask anyone in the NFT market, they would say BAYC or the Bored Apes, for example, they will regain their floor price that they have now lost. And this is a very small scale example. So we spend our 1 ETH that we paid $1,000 for an NFT worth 1 ETH, and inevitably the bull market comes back around. Well, the price of that NFT alongside the currency that it's backed by goes up. It starts moving north, and let's say that 1 ETH floor price NFT regains its 2 ETH floor price. Well, what happens is the 1 ETH, if we had just bought and held 1 ETH, would be worth, say, $2,000. We doubled our profit, or we doubled our investment. But likewise, if we had spent that same 1 ETH on an NFT that was worth 1 ETH, and it resumes its floor price of 2, this is what happens. That same 1 ETH is now 2 ETH. But coinciding that price, ETH also goes up in the bull market. That means instead of trading $1,000 for $2,000, we traded 1 ETH for 2 ETH, and the price of that currency has still gone up to $2,000 because, oddly enough, the NFT and crypto market, one goes down, the other goes down. One goes up, the other one goes up. It's very unlike traditional collectibles, which means instead of making $1,000 profit, we have now made $3,000 profit. 1 ETH in currency is now $2,000, which means that same 1 ETH we spent, we now have 2 of, and those 2 ETH are worth $2,000 a piece. Now, this is only, like I said, one example and not financial advice, but what am I personally doing right now? Well, I like to find trends, and I must reiterate, this is not financial advice, this is simply what I personally am doing. One of the things I have started doing lately is buying NFTs on the Solana chain, and without naming any project, because none of this is sponsored, none of this is affiliated, I have been buying Dust staking or Dust protocol staking NFTs. I just bought 10 of a certain, I'll say it's not sponsored, not affiliated, but I bought 10 dogs on Dust. Now, these dogs on Dust are around $14 a piece. They're around half of a Solana. Each one of these dogs on Dust will render me 0.15 to 0.2 Dust per day. Currently, the price of Dust is right around $1.30, which means for these 10 NFTs that I paid $140 for, I am receiving or getting an ROI of around $1.80 to $2 per day. Really, about $1.80 to $1.85 per day. Now, what is this going to do when the price goes back up or we resume our bull market? Well, the price of Dust will most likely go up with the rest of the market, and in this scenario, I'm not so worried about the individual NFTs going up because that staking remains the same, which means if Dust resumes its $6 original floor price that we had pushed to before this bear market, we'll be earning right around 6.5. We'll be earning right around $9 a day on our initial $140 investment, meaning in only a couple months' time, I will have received my initial investment back, and everything infinitely until I sell those NFTs will just be profit. It will just become passive income. So these are just a couple ways that I am approaching the bear market, not panicking, not FOMO selling, simply trying to set myself up because, again, I've been in this market for years. I have rode the waves up and down. I have seen ETH crash far more percentage wise than it has in this current bear market, and I've just waited for the bull market, which will inevitably come when things stabilize and resume. Your job as a trader is to make sure you are positioned as properly and as well as you can be. So again, if you found this helpful or educational or even the slightest bit entertaining, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, as I'm constantly trying to put out content that will actually be valuable to my users, something you really don't see that often on YouTube. You see a lot of fluff or sales of courses or applications or things like that. It's not what we do here. As always, stay profitable. Do not let the FOMO bite you in the ass. It certainly is trying doubly hard in the bear market to do that to everyone. And always keep hustling.